Well, have you ever wondered what would have happened if Boruto's fate had never been swapped with Kawaki's? Imagine if that one event that changed the entire ninja world had never happened at all. Boruto would have remained the respected son of the Hokage, while Kawaki would have become the most wanted fugitive for sealing Naruto and Hinata and nearly killing the son of a Hokage himself. That sounds like a much happier ending, doesn't it? And yeah, behind all that, of course, if their fates hadn't been swapped, many things we've come to know might have changed completely. However, there's one consequence that's far more surprising. Without losing everything, without living as a fugitive, and without years of grueling training, could Boruto have become as strong as he is now? Or would the ninja world have lost its only hope when an even greater threat arose? In this video, we'll discuss the 5 biggest changes that would likely occur if omnipotence had never altered Boruto and Kawaki's destinies. Or perhaps more accurately, what if Kawaki and Boruto's destinies had never been swapped? Yeah, I'm Nim without the E. Help me get 100 likes or 1K hype points. And once again, thank you so much, guys. First and foremost, Sasuke never left the village and wouldn't become a fugitive for the umpteenth time. Because, as explained in the manga, that decision happened because omnipotence made the whole world believe that Boruto was the traitor who killed Naruto. Even Sasuke was influenced by this at first, even though he's an Uchiha. But at this point, Sasuke actually disregarded his own decision and chose to trust Sarada, who insisted that everyone's memories had been manipulated. For the sake of his daughter, Sasuke ultimately helped Boruto escape from the village. But what if that twist of fate had never happened? The answer is simple. Sasuke would have had no reason to take Boruto on the run. Instead, he would likely have stayed in Konoha and helped lead the hunt for Kawaki, since everyone knows he was the one who sealed Naruto and Hinata. On the other hand, Sasuke and Boruto's relationship would also develop differently. They could still train as teacher and student without having to live as fugitives. While that sounds much better, there's one rather surprising consequence. Boruto might not develop as quickly as the version we know today. Living on the run for 3 years forced him to become more mature, calmer, and far stronger. So ironically, Sasuke's decision to leave the village actually became one of the reasons Boruto was able to grow into an extraordinary ninja in Two Blue Vortex. Second, Kawaki immediately becomes public enemy number 1. After sealing Naruto and Hinata in the Daikokuten dimension and nearly killing Boruto, everyone will naturally know that Kawaki is the culprit. There's no omnipotent force altering the world's memories, so his identity as the perpetrator remains known to everyone. As a result, Konoha will immediately mobilize all its forces to capture Kawaki. Team 7, the Anbu, and even the Kage from other villages will likely join forces to hunt him down. Kawaki will be considered the greatest threat for having eliminated the 7th Hokage and undermining the stability of the ninja world. Interestingly, Kawaki must face all of this alone. He has lost his refuge, lost the trust of the people who had accepted him, and continues to live on the run. Even so, he likely won't regret his decision because from the very beginning, he believed that sealing Naruto was the only way to protect him from the Otsutsuki threat. In other words, without this exchange of destinies, all the suffering Boruto endured in the original story would actually be experienced by Kawaki. He would be the one to lose his identity, be hated by the entire world, and, which I think is also an interesting point, Amado would likely join Kawaki as a fugitive. Just imagine, in the original scenario, Sasuke had to save Boruto because of the swapped destinies. Whereas, if the destinies hadn't been swapped, I think Amado would be the one with Kawaki. Somehow, this logic seems to point to Akebi, because as we know, if Kawaki is captured or even killed, that would mean there's no second chance for Akebi. And because of that, Amado is probably the one who will make sure Kawaki never dies, even if the entire village and the world are after him. And believe it or not, if that happens, Amado and Kawaki might actually end up being the real villains, right? But what do you guys think? Third, Sarada may not have awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan yet, and may never do so. And honestly, this might turn out to be an ironic twist. If Boruto and Kawaki's fates had never been swapped, then it's highly likely Sarada hasn't awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, or, as I just said, never will. That power emerged right after omnipotence altered the world's memories and made Boruto the #1 enemy. At that time, Sarada was one of the few people who remained unaffected. She watched as Boruto lost everything in the blink of an eye. Even her own father, Sasuke, came to believe those false memories. Under immense pressure and despair, or perhaps more accurately, witnessing Boruto's suffering and his own pain, Sarada pleaded with Sasuke to save Boruto. That emotional outburst was what ultimately triggered the awakening of her Mangekyou Sharingan. However, if their fates had never been swapped, none of those events would have happened. Boruto would have remained on Konoha's side, not falsely accused of killing Naruto, and Sarada wouldn't have had to watch the person she trusted and loved most lose his entire life. This means the emotional trigger that awakened the Mangekyou likely would never have occurred either. But even though I said at the beginning that Sarada would never awaken that power, that might be an overstatement. Maybe Sarada would still awaken the power of her eyes. The problem is, it might take much longer under different circumstances. But again, what do you guys think? Fourth, Koji might not have teamed up with Boruto. So yeah, after becoming a fugitive, Boruto no longer had a place to return to in Konoha. More precisely, after Sasuke lost to Code, Boruto had to wander alone. He had to fight while the entire world was targeting him and trying to capture him. And because of that, those circumstances brought him together with Koji and led the two of them to eventually team up during the time skip. For 3 years, Koji became a key figure who helped Boruto understand the threats of the future. Thanks to his prescience, Koji could see various possible futures and devise strategies to give Boruto a chance to at least prevent the destruction of the ninja world. This information became one of Boruto's greatest advantages in Two Blue Vortex. However, if their fates had never been swapped, Boruto would have remained in Konoha with his family and friends. He would have had no reason to live on the run, so the chances of meeting and working with Koji would have been much smaller. As a result, Boruto might not have learned about the various impending threats as quickly as he did in the original story. Without Koji's guidance and information, many crucial decisions could have turned out differently, and it's even possible that some threats would have struck before he had a chance to prepare. And believe it or not, Boruto's story would have ended that quickly. He wouldn't have known his destiny, nor would he have realized that death was always lurking around the corner. So, without the exchange of destinies, the relationship between Boruto and Koji would most likely never have formed the way we see it now, right? Fifth, Boruto wouldn't have become the monster he is today. Yeah, calling him a monster seems like an overstatement, but this isn't about the term monster itself. It's about how he became as strong as a monster because Momoshiki fused with him. I know some of you might think that Boruto's strength isn't because of Momoshiki. He's strong simply because he's Boruto. But we have to accept the fact that at this point, Boruto grew even stronger after Momoshiki lent him all of his power. As a result, Boruto possesses extraordinary power. We also have to remember that some of Boruto's abilities and powers, when used by Momoshiki, have a stronger and more badass output. So naturally, thanks to Momoshiki, Boruto's power is on a whole different level. But the situation would be the exact opposite if Boruto hadn't lost everything due to omnipotence. Momoshiki would never become one. And perhaps what happens is just a cycle that never ends, a cycle where Momoshiki keeps trying to take over Boruto's conscience just as he did before, right? But what do you guys think? And yeah, out of all the possibilities, these 5 are the ones I find most interesting, assuming their fates aren't actually swapped, and honestly still plenty of other points to discuss. But if this video gets 100 likes, maybe we can continue with a second part. I'm Nim without the E. See you in the next video. Bye-bye, Databayo.